Meet Marcus, a founder and CEO of a fintech platform. Marcus views his body and mind as the ultimate business asset. He is deeply invested in high-performance biohacking, but his external signal is leaking massive authority due to spectral dissonance and fragmentation. He faces two main challenges within his visual and vocal image. Marcus loves to wear bespoke, ultra-bright chroma suits, like this blue, because he believes this intense chroma project high energy, modern competence, and creative style. He follows the generic advice for business attire, wearing black, blue, gray, white, which are highly dissonant for his unique spectral type. Instead of the observer focusing on his face, the high saturation suit steals the attention, and so it arrives before him. He is spending over $60,000 on tailoring that really acts like a visual liability, creating an immediate perception delta. In his vocal image, he faces the following challenge. Marcus has a high baritone voice type, but wearing such bright colors, he tends to speak fast, high-pitched, and with a fast vocal cadence when he gets excited about the data. And because his bright chroma suit creates high-energy noise, his audience's brain is already working overtime to process the visual data. When his voice races, it creates an absolute frequency mismatch. His body language picks up on that high frequency, and he starts to fidget on his suit, touching his face, using more filler words, and becoming more nervous over time, while also including anxious pauses. And as time passes, he comes across as more and more shy, which makes his speeches and delivery weak towards the end. This acoustic friction breaks the chain of trust in 30 milliseconds. His visual signal is unstable, so the voice follows and breaks the confidence, meaning his message about offering financial stability and innovation fails to fully resonate with prospects and investors. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I solve the spectral dissonance and fragmentation for his specific spectral type. And here's why I can offer a unique perspective to personal branding, but specifically to visual and vocal coherence as a system. I was born, raised, and trained in an astrophysical mountain village in Asia by a doctor in solar physics and an artist-musician mom. After we moved to Germany, I turned my lifelong obsession and interdisciplinary and independent studies and research in science, linguistics, musicology, art, and fashion into the first science-based analysis system globally that bridges visual and vocal coherence. But I'm not a theorist. While science is the backbone of my work, I have spent my life in the field, singing, composing, drawing, designing, award-winning writing and publishing, and vocal coaching since 1998 to master what works in the real world. And as an entrepreneur of 7 years, traveling full-time for the past 5 years, I deeply understand the high-stakes needs of global founders, executives, speakers and hosts, authors, coaches, artists, and singers. For the past year, I have decided to specialize in helping mission-driven leaders and personal brands look and sound like an absolute authority in 30 milliseconds. Let's have a look at why this specific suit is incoherent for Marcus's spectral type. Remember, there are 8 billion spectral types, which means your spectral type is as unique as your fingerprint, just like your voice. This specific blue has the right hue and depth, but has the wrong chroma, which means it is too bright. His skin tone is medium chroma, but he mistakenly believes he can wear bright colors as so many dark-skinned individuals do. He appears overpowered, and you see the suit first, particularly the white shirt. It demands the highest level of attention. The white is too bright and has the wrong depth, and it is too light for him. This suit combo doesn't increase his radiance. It serves itself more than it serves Marcus. It just overpowers his skin. Dark skin tones can only take so much light before they collapse and appear uneven, oily, and splotchy. There is really no focus point with this suit. It distracts from his eyes, which are his trust-building asset number one, particularly serving as his high empathy, warmth, signal. The chroma of the white and blue specifically creates a spectral mirroring. The excess light is reflected on the skin, which distracts from his eyes again. It emphasizes all the skin imperfections, which makes him look unwell or not well groomed and even younger. Visual vitality is the first level you need to establish for others to build trust with you. They need to see that you have enough health and energy to serve them. The overpowering chroma of the white and blue create spectral fragmentation. It separates the body from the head, which is the floating head phenomenon. You need full body presence to build trust with others. He achieves a visual warmth of 20%, which is mainly due to his skin tone and his polarity profile, and a visual competence of around 40%, which is due to his skin tone, the blue hue in the suit, and the suit structure. But this ratio is too low to build ultimate trust in his specific niche. He comes across as too playful and loud, like an amateur or beginner, since he has a naturally youthful appearance. This suit cheapens his look, which doesn't help investors or high net worth individuals build trust with him. He looks much younger with this overpowering chroma and not grounded and mature enough to build trust with seasoned investors and clients. No matter how elite his competence might be, that clashing color combo acts like a constant visual noise layer. It creates such a subconscious barrier that it completely drowns his message, forcing his prospects and clients, but also investors, to tune him out in 30 milliseconds. The data so far shows that leaders are operating on 70% of dissonance and fragmentation in their visual and vocal image on average, which means that the trust-building process is prolonged by 10 to 20 years on average. Before I show you the solution, here's what you are probably doing. Your spectral signal means your colors in your wardrobe, hair, makeup, jewelry, and so on make 35% of the entire signal or your image, and structural are 25%, meaning the shape and the structure of your entire visual signal, and acoustic, your vocal sound, is 35%, while verbal, your words and your message, is only 5%. You are only focusing on verbal and structural, which is only 30% of your potential authority. Now, you leave out the largest chunk of 70% on the table if you don't know what colors to wear and if you don't calibrate your vocal sound to your voice type and to your personal brand and message. By the way, if you want to measure your level of spectral dissonance and fragmentation in your visual and vocal image, you can get your authority score at the link in the description. This is the world's first authority score that is able to measure a leader's visual and vocal incoherence. If you are a founder, speaker, coach, host, or artist or singer, with a global mission and legacy in mind, you can apply to calculate your specific authority score. You get the breakdown of your results of each of the 4 categories that I just mentioned, the spectral, structural, acoustic, and verbal, via email, so you can always go back to it. So here's what happens when you start wearing your coherent colors and color combinations relative to your spectral type and niche. This suit color has the coherent chroma depth and contrast which anchors his features. His skin tone appears more even, the spectral mirroring is reduced massively, he looks more healthy, and he has a rich looking skin, which is very important for dark-skinned individuals. You cannot be afraid of the depth of your skin tone. You need to emphasize it, you need to feed it with the right colors. Now it drives attention to his eyes, which are his warmth drivers. This increases the radiance of his eyes, hair, and skin tone. There's one focus point that creates calm and trust in his audience. He achieves a warmth of 70% because this specific blue emphasizes and feeds his skin tone, which is warm, and he achieves a competence level of 90%, which is the right mix for his specific spectral type, niche, but also his audience. The contrast and chroma increase his radiance significantly, which makes him look more mature and more grounded. Now his face takes center stage and the suit has the supporting role. And radiance does not mean that you have to glow like a lamp. which he technically does in the first suit variation. Radiance means that your specific features are elevated in hue, chroma, depth, and in contrast. In terms of energy, that it increases your visual vitality and health. Now, this right hue, chroma, depth, and contrast also create the full body presence that he needs to build instant authority with the observer. With an anchored visual image, his voice now can relax and helps him maintain his deeper chest baritone voice type, which is his primary competence driver, and beautifully balances his high warmth visual features specifically in his face. His voice becomes full, well supported, and articulate, communicating stability. Now he starts to believe in his internal power because it is visible on the outside, which reduces his imposter syndrome, stress, anxiety, and his shyness, which can take over, especially when he is presenting. Now he stops comparing himself and imitating others because he starts to understand his unique spectral type. His insecure body language and vocal performance are lifted, and he comes across as much more confident and competent. He goes from a visually overpowered to playful, low effort, cheapened and insecure visual and vocal image to an unassailable unified field, creating a magnetic pull towards his expertise as a CEO. This is a look that people will instantly take seriously. Before I recorded this video, I did a poll on Monday asking the YouTube community which of these suit variations they thought looks more trustworthy, and the results are very interesting. This shows the habituation bias, where people get used to a very specific look and tend to like it more even though it is not serving the person or them very well. And also confirms another observation that I have made over the last decades, that people tend to hide behind their clothes, and that they favor people who do the same, especially in Western countries, where fashion has become an independent asset that lives aside from you, apparently. It is treated like a luxury asset, almost like a car or a house. But if the clothing is really living aside from you, you can never feel home in your own body. You are visually homeless, which is the exact challenge that I'm solving through my work. I help you go from visual and vocal homelessness to a unified field. And when you start with the spectral signal with your colors first, you can save yourself a lot of money that you invest in speech coaching, communication, vocal performance, and vocal health. Because your spectral signal, what you wear every day, influences your body language and your voice significantly. And if this video was helpful, the next video will show you why you cannot solve this spectral signal, your colors, with traditional systems, and why they fail 90% of the time on average.